welcome to Just the Job. Today we've got a special program where George Keenan from Auckland's Red Beach is teaming up with Sarah from Careers New Zealand to discover the pluses and minuses of working for yourself. If you have initiative and enthusiasm, who knows where it will lead you? Paul Richards' passion for keeping fit inspired him to start his own business 30 years ago. Now Club Physical has grown to 10 locations around the country with 250 staff and over 13,000 members. So what's Paul's advice if you've got an idea and want to work for yourself?
If you come up with an idea, just do it and don't wait till it's perfect. It'll never be perfect. You just got to start, you just got to do it.
Now, one man who knows a lot about people working for themselves is Michael Gale. He worked for years as an accountant, specialising in small businesses and startups.
There are many different forms of operating a business. In New Zealand, we have a whole range that we can choose from. They vary in terms of complexity and sometimes in terms of the sort of protection that they might offer you as a business owner. At the one end, we have a sole proprietorship. And that is where simply you conduct a business in your own name. You may choose to trade as a particular brand, but from a legal perspective, it's you trading in your own name.
Rachel works in the HR and Communications department at Health Alliance, looking after the day-to-day running of the Kiwi Health Jobs website. She now has a portfolio of careers, and as well as being a normal employee with Health Alliance, she is also a sole trader doing freelance work as a researcher and director in the TV industry.
What's it like having more than one job, juggling between the two and all that?
Well, it's really great actually, because I love both jobs and, you know, it is important to be able to prioritise your workload though. So home life, work life and, you know, getting everything together. But fortunately, I can work from home as well, so that's really good. As a sole trader, you know, working in the TV sector, I have to do my own invoicing. You know, if you don't invoice, then you don't get paid. So you're kind of having to look after your own accounts and things like that. So yeah, it is a real steep learning curve, but you know, it's been a great experience so far, and you know, I'm really fortunate to be able to do both.
The advantages of that are it's relatively non-complex, quick and easy to set up and start. Some of the drawbacks are, for example, legally, you and your business are one and the same. So there's an inability, for example, to separate, say, your personal assets, like your home, from your business assets.
If you are a sole trader, you have to find your own work, or you can use an agency to do that for you. Another possibility for even more variety in work is to temp. Viv Popplewell runs her own recruiting and temping agency, so George is paying her a visit to get some advice.
So can you tell me what the difference is between like full-time recruitment or like part-time temping?
If you're looking at temping, what is the motivation around that? And sometimes that is because you have other commitments or other parts of your life that you want to develop, so a permanent part-time position may be what you want, versus a temp role, which may be full-time for 2 to 3 weeks and then you change and go to another company. If you want to try different things and you need to have a flexible life, you may be wanting to do some study or you have other life choices that you want to pursue, I think that can give you a far better flexibility than a full-time role. In temping, you do get exposed to different systems and procedures and you can pick up different skills.
Probably the most common form of business for small and medium businesses in New Zealand is a structure involving the use of a limited liability company. And as the name suggests there, one of the main advantages of a limited liability company is the fact that it limits your liability. So it creates a foundation for separating your personal affairs from your business affairs. And that is very good, particularly where you may be starting a business that for some or other reason may not necessarily go well, and you would want to protect your personal assets like your home and vehicle, etc., from the business.
Lee Elliott has had a successful career as a freelance writer. With 2 daughters at school, Lee and her husband recently formed a limited company and now run a home-based business selling projector lamps.
It wasn't necessarily the projector lamps as such, because I don't particularly have a passion for those, but I did see the potential in the business for some of the skills that I've got in terms of the interaction with the customers. A lot of the inquiries come through the telephone or the website, and that's something that I like doing. I like dealing with people, and it was a business that was also home-based when we purchased it from the previous owners, so we knew that we could run it from home as well, and that would give me the flexibility that I wanted to still be here for the girls in the morning and in the evening, and also give me the flexibility to be able to keep them up with the things that they do after school.
Coming from someone who runs their own business from home, is there any advice you can give to me or anyone else out there?
Oh, the main advice I think I would have loved to have got when I was looking at doing this is to find out as much as you can about the business and know, or if you're starting it yourself, know that it's going to actually fit into the environment that you've got at home, and also the amount of time that you've got to dedicate to it. So you know that it's not going to necessarily finish at 5 o'clock, even though you would like it to, that there are going to be times when it does cross over into the rest of your life, and just to be prepared for that and manage it and plan for that.
Now, in the example shown, there's one common factor, and that is, in general, you'll be working for yourself. That's an exciting prospect for many.
If you wanted to own your own business, what would it be?
It would be a restaurant.
Probably my own boutique store.
I'll probably own my own league team, professional league team like Russell Crowe.
Next, we find out more about home-based businesses and the help that's available to get you started.
So, it's clear that when it comes to working for yourself, whether it's as a sole trader or owning your own business, there are a number of skills you have to master. So there are systems out there designed to make your life a lot easier though, and when it comes to accounting, that's one you have to come to grips with. As the saying goes, the person who runs the finances runs the company. Just ask Dave Mason. He's the person that runs the limited company that's making this whole program.
When I came out to New Zealand, I came out and I started work as a sole trader. So that meant that I was working for myself. I was having to market myself as well as sell my services. And then 10 years ago, we started this particular company, which is Dave Mason Productions. And our main program that we produce is this, Just the Job program. When we're in production, there's probably about 12 to 15 people working on the program. And out of those 12 to 15 people, there are only 2 full-time employees. There's myself, an employee of my own company, and my wife, who is also an employee. And so we're the kind of base for the whole thing. And then the other people that work here are sole traders, and they are hired project by project, so program by program. And we also have people who have their own companies who sell their services through that company to me.
When Dave started the company in 2003, there was then and is now a lot of free advice available, including business seminars from the major banks and Inland Revenue.
And today we're going to be looking at our Introduction to Business presentation.
Sam McFarlane is a Community Compliance Officer for Inland Revenue.
We're either out doing a presentation or a seminar or possibly a workshop to businesses, small and medium businesses, or we are visiting people at their homes, giving them the same information in a particular way that's a bit more relevant to them, because they may be at a later stage or a different stage of their business and need some other help with that as well.
So when starting out a business, is there an accounting software or accountants I can go to help me out and keep the records tidy and clean?
That's up to you, but the simplest records you can keep would be a cash book. We have free downloadable templates on the Inland Revenue website, which you can download. It's a simple Excel spreadsheet, which will help you keep track of all the ingoings and all the outgoings of your business.
You can find out more about Inland Revenue services online at ird.govt.nz/business.
We'd be lost without our software package.
Well, I acted as Dave's chartered accountant for more than 10 years. Dave's company would serve as a very good example for the optical
use of resources, for example. On the administration front, they've employed the use of software very productively, which has freed up not only their own time, but in our case, freed up the accounting time, so that we were able to not only crunch Dave's numbers, so to speak, we were also able to use our time by focusing forward and participating in some of Dave's strategic and forward-looking decision-making.
I think the key thing is that most small business owners don't tend to go into business thinking that they're going to be accountants or number crunchers. They tend to go into business thinking, I'm going to follow a dream or pursue a passion that I've had for years, and I think I can make a great fist of a small business. But I think it's really important they consider that the accounting side of their business is crucial because of the information it can provide them, and getting that right from really early days is crucial. So the information they glean from their financial accounting software is really the lifeblood of the business. It's really the people who owe me money. How much cash have I got? Am I going to be able to pay myself some money? Have I got enough money to cover the costs and expenses? So whether they're just a start-up business or actually looking to grow or evolve their business or even exit it, the accounts are really important in terms of knowing where they're at.
MYOB cater for businesses small to large, and if you're just starting out, possibly their new cloud-based account system could be the one for you. Plus, they also have a simple web startup package to get you noticed online. Business support is ongoing with their accounts packages through MYOB partners, who will come and visit you and help out with any problems you may be having.
What I love about my job is that we get out on the road, we're visiting business owners all across Auckland. We're getting to see how MYOB can make a difference for them in managing their books, and we're really helping them make sense of their accounts to get a nice simple process in place so that at the end of the month they can see the position of their business. So when a business is starting out, it's a really good time for them to get a partner involved. If somebody isn't specifically an accounts expert, they might be really good at designing websites or setting up a garden landscaping business, but they're not necessarily confident on accounts processes, then it's a really good time for them to get a partner to come out on site. We'd set up the software, customise it for their business, set up all their templates, and then we would actually just train them on the parts of MYOB that they need for their business, because there's a lot involved in the product, but they may only need to use 30 or 40% of it.
MYOB work closely with a lot of good accountants whose goal it is to make businesses succeed. One of these accountants is Lloyd Kirby.
So my advice would be, sit down, do a really, really, really good plan. Actually know where you want to, what you want to achieve, where you want to head, and make sure you're not buying a job, because the trouble with going into business is you're not only going to be doing the job initially, you're going to be doing the books and everything else that you took for granted for when you were working for someone else, because they had other people doing that. So I think having a good business plan, having a good budget, certainly you really should talk to an accountant right at the outset.
Learning lots, George?
Learning heaps.
Yep. Excellent. Well, next up, you're about to learn more about one other aspect of working for yourself, which is a franchise operation. But not just any franchise. You're about to discover what it takes to actually run and own a McDonald's restaurant.
McDonald's is one of the most recognisable brands in the world today. In New Zealand alone, there are more than 160 restaurants that employ over 10,000 people. 80% of those restaurants are a franchise. A franchise McDonald's restaurant is one where the business is owned and operated by an individual, known as the franchisee, with the support of McDonald's head office. George will be getting hands-on experience to see what's involved in running a McDonald's restaurant and discover the steps it takes to having his own Golden Arches franchise. He's at McDonald's head office to meet Kim Smith. Kim's been working with McDonald's for over 20 years and as a business partner works closely with franchisees around the country.
So my role within McDonald's is to work with those franchisees to help them drive profitable business. You can imagine this is a very fast-paced, fast-moving environment. We've got lots of things going on, so trying to keep that information flowing backwards and forwards is really important. So our role is really to make sure we're that conduit between head office and franchisees to make sure that communication is open and everyone has the opportunity to talk.
Kim introduces George to Director of Operations, Katrina Felton.
This is George.
Hi.
George, how are you?
Good, thank you. So here I am. Where to now? Where do I begin to become a franchisee?
I suppose once basically we've received a application and you walk through that application process and get the green light to become a franchisee, the training process has a couple of different facets. So it's around about 9 to 12 months depending on the capability of yourself as the individual and how much you really get hold of your training.
Katrina has arranged for George to meet McDonald's Pakuranga franchisee, Amon Jones.
So, what kind of preparation did it take for you to get ready to own a Macca's?
Well, it's when I applied to become a franchisee, you know, they sort of explain pretty clearly what's involved. And
After submitting your application to become a franchisee, you'll have to learn everything from the way the restaurant works, from cleaning to cooking, to serving to managing. Over a few months, you'll effectively be working your way up from the role of a team member to restaurant manager. You'll also attend further training courses in New Zealand or Australia. Then once you're given the green light from head office, you'll be on your way to running your own Macca's. Now it's time for George's training. Time to get the gloves on and make something from the breakfast menu.
we'll go and make a bacon and egg muffin.
Done. Let's go.
Your muffin wrap's there, so grab the wrap. So muffins are in the green tray, so just grab a muffin.
When selecting franchisees for the business, McDonald's has a philosophy to bring in applicants from a variety of backgrounds.
So ideally we're looking to get a third from the business world in terms of applicants, a third from our head office here, and a third from the franchise system. So all of our managers and our ops managers that are doing such a fantastic job, a third from that area as well. And that's how we look to kind of grow our franchise pipeline.
You know, previous to McDonald's, I had a really good job in the corporate world, and I was well looked after. But I never owned that business, and and for me, I wanted to own my own business.
Good effort, George. Let's see how you go in other parts of the business.
Okay, George, we'll get your turn to take an order.
Okay.
So we'll get you to put the headset on.
Sweet.
McDonald's, isn't a business where they throw you a key and wish you well. They're hand in hand through your tenure in McDonald's. They're a global business that's been going for over 50 years, so you can't deny that it works.
George's time with Amon might be over, but there's still more training to be done. Katrina and George are off to the training centre in Green Lane.
So George, how did you find your training back with Amon?
I actually thought it was really fun.
At the training centre, George is learning some of the theory that franchisees will then put into practice once they're operating their own restaurant. Steve's son has just completed his training and is ready to take on his own franchise.
How do you feel about starting up your own franchise?
Oh, look, after completing the training and having such wonderful support from the McFamily, all the various other franchises are always very, very supportive. They've generated so much enthusiasm within myself. I really cannot wait to get my hands dirty and get in there and get involved. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're not too sure where we're going to go. We're willing to move anywhere around the country, so that's part of the process, and we're really looking forward to it.
After a busy day so far, it's time for lunch.
Hey guys, how are you?
Heyo.
Angus, mate, how are you?
George.
Angus Rush works in menu development and has a long history in the McDonald's family, having worked with his parents in their restaurants over the years. Part of his role is overseeing the implementation of national marketing launches and working with franchisees around the country to see what they're doing from a local perspective.
Awesome, George. Let's go take this down and try it, eh?
Sweet.
Let's do it.
He'll be taking George to the ins and outs of the new McChamp burger.
Awesome, mate. So what we're going to do now is actually go through what restaurants do when a new product launches.
Cool. With the checklist handy, George and Angus go through the burger to make sure it's up to gold standard.
Ultimately, when we take something to the market, we ask our franchisees to invest. They want to be sure that they're going to get a return, and it's actually healthy for their business because they know, as we do, a sustainable business is what we all want, a successful, sustainable business.
The McChamp has ticked all the boxes, but how does it taste?
Good. Oh, no.
In Wellington, George is meeting up with Chris Boone. He was 17 when he started his career with McDonald's, working his way up from a crew member to now owning 4 McDonald's restaurants with over 260 staff.
It's really great every day that I come into my restaurant and I'm working daily with them on the floor, one-on-one. Not only working with them, but mentoring them, coaching them and helping them through.
So, here we are behind the scenes. What's it like?
Part of the big role as a franchisee is looking over the whole operation of the business. We also look into our profit and making sure that everything's okay with that.
Now it's George's turn to help with some managerial responsibilities.
A franchisee being on top of their business, knowing their numbers, understanding debt, understanding how to make profit, how to drive sales, and the financial model that we have, absolutely a key part of success.
But it's not all about the profit.
As a franchisee, it's really important to get very involved with the community because it's the community that comes back to your restaurant.
McDonald's actively support a number of community groups and local charities. At the heart of many McDonald's restaurants is Ronald McDonald House, which helps thousands of seriously ill children and their families across New Zealand. So after a busy day learning about what it takes to be a franchisee, how did George go?
I think he sees McDonald's as the golden opportunity that it can be for anyone that wishes to come into our business and in our business long term. So very excited if he picks up the phone and wants to chat to us one day.
So what did George think?
It's more like what McDonald's does for people that's like really hit me. It's just realizing how generous people are and like how awesome they can be and still be so successful is just amazing to find out.
To be considered for a McDonald's franchise, you need to be able to make a significant financial contribution and commit to a 9 to 12 month unpaid training program. You must also have had a successful business or career and be willing to relocate anywhere in New Zealand. There are no specific qualifications, but commitment and hard work is a must.
Well, you've met a lot of new people and there's been a lot to take in. What are your thoughts on where to from here?
Definitely interested in starting up something of my own.
Yeah? And what would you say is the take-home message for you from what you've learned?
You definitely need to know what you're going to get yourself into, I think. Preparation is key to running your own business.
Excellent. Sounds like you're well on your way.
If you're thinking of working for yourself or starting your own business, some of the things you'll need to consider are putting a business and marketing plan together, finding a good accountant who is experienced in business startups, making use of all the free advice available from banks and Inland Revenue, and considering an accounting package to help keep all your finances in order and up to date. Well, George has certainly had an eventful time discovering the ins and outs of working for himself. To find out more about working for yourself and all of the careers featured on Just the Job, visit our program website tvnz.co.nz/justthejob. That's it for Series 8. We'll see you again soon for Series 9. Good luck.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.